Alright, I promised you exciting editing, a wedding, it's going to be great. I tricked you. We're actually going to be organizing the files within Premiere Pro, but doing it right. Okay, so this is the exercise files. You'll notice the first project I gave you, inside of it was all just dumped in here. Like, here you go, there's some MP4s. And that works fine for little projects. When you get into something slightly more complicated, like this wedding, you'll notice that if I go into project 2, in your exercise files, we've got a nice file structure in here. This is the one that I use. Okay, so this is how whenever I start a new job, doesn't matter what it is, I have an audio file, I have a copy file, footage, graphics, all of these 6. Okay, so audio is any dialogue or music. Copy is there's often some sort of text that goes along with it. It might be talent releases, it might be a shooting kind of timeline, it might be in this case like a wedding program that actually had the timings on it. Okay, footage, okay, is where everything goes. That's the main stuff. That's all the MP4s, all the stuff you've captured off a camera or been given. Graphics is just any JPEGs or PSD files I'm working on. Project files, this is where my Premiere Pro file is going to be. And renders is that final like export folder. Okay, it's called export or renders. It's up to you. This is the footage that this is the structure that I use. Okay, so if you want to copy that, I've actually included it in here. It's called ZZ template folder structure, and ZZ just so it's at the bottom. So you can just copy and paste that. So whenever I start a new job, I go, all right, copy, paste. Okay, and then I call it the new project. Okay, and I give it the date in Han. Okay, 2024, we're in the future. Okay, so at least I can get started now, start putting the footage in the footage folder. It's just a nice quick way to get started. You might not like that. Now everyone's slightly different. You will find working at agencies or other kind of editing houses that they'll have their own structure, but I find that's a real kind of generic one that works most of the time for all projects. Okay, so let's look inside wedding. Now the other thing I want to point out is this footage came through and split up by cameras. So A cam, B cam. It just meant this wedding actually had 4 videographers with cameras, okay, running around recording everything. And that's the way that this footage was given to me to say, okay, that is, like here you go. Here's camera A, camera B, camera C. It seemed like an easy way for them. Well, that's the way they organized it. Let me show you different ways of organizing it so you don't freak out. You're not going to freak out, but let's have a look. The jacuzzi, that's the one that I was working on. Okay, that New Zealand kind of short film. Let's go into that. Okay, they've given me this. Okay, so they've called it media. I often go and rename it, call it footage, just to keep my own kind of sanity good. And what they did is they broke it into different sections. Okay, so 00 is the driving scenes. Okay, there's a section in here, whereas this bit is all the kind of entering into the building. Okay, so this is the second scene, and then this is all these 3rd to 5th scenes. Okay, so they've organized these by scenes. Okay, and they're just kind of like groups in this short film. Let's have a little look in, this is a television commercial. Okay, so if we go into this one, they've put it into scenes. Okay, and they've broken it into different sections. So this one has kind of some footage of somebody folding an airplane. Okay, that we're going to use. Then there's a section of trying to throw it in to get it going. So they've broken it into scenes similar to the jacuzzi. Okay, but nice explicitly named, so it's really easy for me as an editor to kind of know which ones to start jumping into. Let's have a look at one more. Let's have a look at, so this one, parkour. We're going to do this a little bit later, but if we look at footage, they've broken theirs into indoor and outdoor. And what they did was they did a lot of naming of the cameras. So they've used 2 different cameras. Okay, so they've used it's a Canon DX2, okay, and a 7D. Okay, oh no, sorry, it's a 1DX2. They've named the cameras. So they've actually filmed in 2 separate cameras, okay, and they've just grouped those together. Okay, so indoor to kind of group all the indoor stuff, and then there's an outdoor section which we're going to be doing the most of, and you can see a Hero 4 is a type of camera. Okay, it's a GoPro. 1DX is a type of Canon, I think as well. So this is the way that they've grouped it. So you're going to get stuff all grouped like this, hopefully. It's just good to see how other people do it. If you're filming your own stuff, it can be really handy. If you're like, man, I just throw it all on the desktop and it's fine. That's fine too. I'll have a panic attack when I open your computer. But You don't have to put it anyway, there's no real rules, but when you are working with larger jobs, and if you're a little bit like me, you love a little bit of folder structure, so you can come back 2 years from now and they say, can you grab that stuff for us? And you're like, oh, the stuff. Okay, and you're like, can you grab that footage that was that we shot that was outside? You can go, okay, cool. And you can know the folder, you know it's in footage, you know it's under outside. All right, that's enough of the theory of how to actually get your files all together. Let's actually start bringing it together inside of Premiere Pro in the next video.